Hi everyone, it's time for our final story taster session today, and this evening I've chosen to read you a bit from this story, Evernight by Ross Mackenzie. Ross Mackenzie is one of my favourite authors. He's written a fabulous book called The Nowhere Emporium and a sequel to that called The Elsewhere Emporium, and this book, Evernight, is just as brilliant. Shadow Jack. There was a man made of midnight, and his name was Shadow Jack. The name suited him well. His clothes were dark and his hair was darker. His eyes were pools of shadow. As he slipped through the winding labyrinth of the slums on the night our story begins, his intentions were darkest of all. He crossed a wooden bridge to a putrid lump of half-flooded land cut off from the rest of the slums. Filth lay thick on crowded, leaning dwellings, and the rain-swollen river was black as tar and coated with a film of weed and scum. There were few streets or alleys or courts. Mostly there were only waterways and flooded ditches, channels crossing this way and that, with houses built upon crazy-looking wooden stilts to escape the water, which seemed to swell every minute with the rain. This was Devil's Island, and even at such a late hour there were huddles of coats gathered on wooden boats, shifting movements in the darkest corners. They left Shadow Jack to his business. He took a deep sniff of the soaking air, searching through the many layers of death and filth and disease. There you are. Cutting down an alley, he came out at the bank of a canal and sniffed again. Somewhere nearby, over the rain, he heard an argument and a fight, and then all was suddenly quiet. Across the waterway, the flicker of a lamp caught his sharp eyes, where a sorry figure stumbled to a glassless window and tipped a bucket of sewage out into the water. Shadow Jack made a movement, quick, fluid, and at once he was gone from that spot in the alley, and a black raven the size of an eagle was soaring into the wild night. The raven circled, looking down over the winding waterways and canals and crumbling buildings of Devil's Island, and then it swooped down, coming to rest on the ledge of a high window. The raven hopped into the damp-ridden apartment within. With a sound like dark velvet, it became a man once more, wrapped in his midnight coat. The room was bare, save for a simple bed and a wooden chair under the small window. It seemed at first glance that there was nobody there. But Shadow Jack heard a heartbeat, fast and frightened. "We both know you're here, Jenny Winter," he said in a low, dangerous voice. "You know what I am. Your tricks won't cut it with me. I hear your heart, hear how frightened you are, and you should be He stopped, because across the room there was a shimmer in the air, and a woman appeared before his eyes, as if she'd been wearing a cloak made of the very fabric of the world and had slipped it off. Jenny Winter raised a trembling hand. In her fingers she clutched a thin wooden stick fitted like a pistol with a round of chambers, but instead of bullets these chambers held small bottles, and inside the bottles were coils of glowing coloured light. Shadow Jack picked a speck off his coat sleeve and examined it before flicking it away. "You can't kill me with magic, you know. 12 of you have tried and failed already." He took a small step towards her, and she raised her wand. The spells glowed fiercely in their bottles. "One more step and I'll send you through that wall." Shadow Jack turned his eyes skyward. "Look, we both know this journey has come to an end. You're on your own, Jenny. Wherever you go, I'll find you. You've been running so long. You must be exhausted." His voice had taken on a soothing tone. "Imagine how wonderful it would feel to be free of the weight you've been carrying. Give me the doomsday spell, Jenny, and it'll all go away." Jenny's thoughts betrayed her. Her hand made an involuntary movement to the place in her coat where she'd stowed that most precious of objects. His eyes met hers. Shadow Jack lunged forwards. That's just a short extract from the beginning of this story, Evernight, which is a story of magic and genies and goodies and buddies and adventure. I really recommend it.